let's say the city government decided to increase knowledge of climate and energy use among Quincy residents. Name 3 or more city departments that should have a role in such a campaign, and specify what each of these departments would do to raise awareness. 90 seconds or less.
Well, I would definitely study all the resources in the city, and I would study all the past initiatives, and I would I would look at other cities and how they deal with this, and we can compile all of that data, and then we can choose exactly what we want to do based upon the cost savings, what it would do to reduce energy, what it would do to help Quincy be much better at protecting itself in the future against problems. And I would look at all of those issues and come to a decision. I crunch data at work all the time. I design surgery over the internet, and so I look at all these things, and it comes down to spreadsheets and basically looking at your options and determining what is the best way to go.
The 3 departments I would be looking at would be constituent service, which Larry Liuzzo from the Mayor's Department heads, getting a consensus of whether it be through email, through mail, a single body, the first body, to actually get this information out. I'd also look for planning and community development. Jim Fatsy's in the planning department. How are we going to institute new public buildings, new things that come in front of the planning board, and how to initiate energy efficiency? And also public works, the DPW. What are we doing with our infrastructure improvements, and how do we elaborate this together? All 3 departments must work together. And I probably would say that every department in the city is going to be involved in this process. You need to continue to educate and have everybody on the same table, on the same playing field. You can't leave one department out without keeping the other ones in tune with this. This is something that has to be at every department. So constituent service is getting the information out to all of you. Thank you.
City initiatives need buy-in by all the city departments, but let's make sure we value our nonprofit partners, like an organization like Quincy Community Action Network. The planning department manages projects that cross multiple departments. It would be great to engage on this. I strongly advocated for Quincy to become a green community and to hire an energy manager. Our public building department has been innovative in this area, and Shelley Dean, our energy manager, is a great resource. I would suggest the public works department in our public schools. John Sullivan at DPW has done a terrific job with his public outreach campaigns, utilizing QATV and social media and the DPW newsletter. Did you know that's one of the top hits on the city website? Our students are able to affect change for our future and often can educate their own parents. As a city councilor, I think it's important for ourselves to be engaged on this. I pride myself on my communications platform informing my constituents, and I would promote these messages through my website, margaretlaforest.com, my e-newsletter, the social media channels. I also serve on the Massachusetts Municipal Association Energy and Environment Committee and would recommend engaging them in the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. We have resources available to our municipality. We need to engage everybody to promote the environmental awareness and improvements for our community.
I do want to acknowledge that DPW, public buildings, planning, and community development, those are all important. They have a role in this, but that's to implement these programs. And we need to build a bridge between these departments that implement and those that educate. And so the first of the 3 would be the Quincy Public Schools. Again, if you start with the kids and you're educating them on the importance of whatever initiative we take, whether it's the composting or the recycling, through that you can get back to the parents and from there to the family as well and expand out from there. The libraries are a great resource. We have a number of them across the city here, and they can allow for residents to come to them and not only be educated, but then tap into those resources, like with the DPW or with planning, to implement any programs that they would like to do in their own personal homes. The third would be the Asian Outreach Coordinator department in the city. Close to 30% of our population here in the city are Asian Americans, and a number of that percentage does not speak English. And so we're working with the Asian coordinator is important because anything that we try to implement here in the city, we want to make sure that everyone in our community is able to take advantage of that and to take part of that. Thank you.
So we're all touching upon some of the very similar things: education, public works, cross-pollinating the information through all the departments, but it all starts at the top. The mayor's office has to be actively engaged in the community and want to make our community a green community. So we need the mayor to take an active role. We need the mayor to be part of the climatemayors.org organization so that we can learn what other communities are doing and bring it back here to Quincy. You can't do anything in Quincy with the multiple departments unless you don't have a leader who wants to lead us in that direction. So we have to start at the mayor's office. Public Works is another important one because as we're developing these things and instituting them, we have to make sure that it's actually happening. So we have to actually engage and make sure our departments are all working together, and education is always going to be part of the solution because as we are educating our students and educating our population, all of those are outreaches to everybody in our community. And when we do all those things together, we are an educated community. We are bringing the right solutions here to Quincy. We're learning and actively engaging with other communities and being part of the solution, bringing those solutions that can be retrofitted here into the city and making them happen here today. The other things that we have that are resources to us here in the city is obviously our internet, and we also have QATV. It's another arm that we can reach out to and educate people on, so seniors that may not be using the internet will also be able to be actively engaged. It's important that we use those newsletters that we're sending out and letting people know the things that we're doing and how they can get more information. We have to work collaboratively across departments to be able to do this, but it all starts at the top with the mayor's office and a council that actually engages the mayor to make sure that this is something that we're doing for our community, not just for today, but for the future, for our city.
I would start with schools because it's the biggest user of energy that we have within the city. It's been reported that as much as 60% of our energy use comes from our schools, so that's where we need to not only get the word out, but obviously that's where a great degree of the savings may wind up coming from in the years to come. So the education of the youngsters and the parents and that all the administrative and the professional staff, all the employees of the Quincy Public Schools, all working together on the same page, turn lights off, shut off electronics, things of that nature that could make a tremendous amount of difference as we click towards that 100% goal. Obviously, Public Works, coastal resiliency, all those aspects, whether roads need to be elevated, seawalls, making sure our infrastructure is properly being maintained and developed. So Public Works needs to be a significant component. Planning, not only to obtain resources, grants, but also to make sure that the private sector is doing what it can as development comes into the city, to be mindful that we are a city of 27 miles of waterfront, and we are a city that wants to be towards our goal of 100% renewable energy. So schools, public works planning, public buildings, of course, and as been said by others, obviously every department needs to buy into this.